Social media can't be the only thing that you're doing as a musician. And this kind of can apply to anyone who's making content or has a social media presence online in today's modern era, really. My name is Kev Rowe. I'm a musician. I've got over 150 songs on Spotify right now, 10 albums released over the last 20 years, and I've done over 2,000 live shows all over the country at one point or another, either as a solo acoustic musician or in my bands, Big Leg Emma and 5 Cubic Feet. So, yes, today we're talking about social media, and I've got a few notes here. Yes, the modern perception. The modern perception, I think, for most musicians, just starting off today, and maybe even veteran musicians, it depends on how much experience you have, I guess, and by the general public, their perception about musicians is this idea that you can become a digital producer or a digital songwriter or a digital singer or a digital piano player, or you can create all this content around your skills. No, let me rephrase that. Content around your talents, as if those talents are enough to carry you through. I'm kind of already leading to where this is going, but the idea is that if you jump on board with this content machine and just start cranking out content, that you can actually break out as a working artist at some point. And that may be true in a tiny, tiny fraction of the public or people on social media, but it's not true for 99% of people. And I'm going to go over the reasons why that's not true. So let's go back to the perception. Here you are making this content, and let's say you're a serious musician and you've got your home studio. You're writing your own songs, you're producing your own beats, or maybe you even have a digital team out there that you send wave files back and forth to their studios, and then they send them back to yours, and you're building productions, and maybe you have a mixing guy or a mastering guy, and you have all these things and you're doing it digitally. And then you go, I've got all this music made. Now I'm going to put it on Spotify. So you go to put it on Spotify, and immediately you can make that transition. I mean, what an incredible time to be a musician. Like, I don't want to understate how incredible that is. You can go from recording masterworks, putting them up on Spotify, and then creating content. So that would be step 3, to promote that content or to promote that music that you just made or released on Spotify. So you've got kind of like this 3-tiered system. You make the music, you put it on Spotify, and then you promote it using social media. Now, what an unbelievable machine that is, right? And very efficient, which explains a lot of the reasons why nobody makes any money on Spotify, because it's such an efficient way to actually get it out. And it also explains why there's 50 to 100,000 songs per day coming out on Spotify, so they say. And there's just so much music, so much quantity, right? So here we are in this new era where you've got those 3 steps. Now I want to talk about me as a playlist curator on Submit Hub. I'm a working musician, but I also have a side gig here on Submit Hub, and I spend a lot of time there. I listen to between 50 and 100 songs every day in a wide variety of genres in consideration to be on my Spotify playlist network, which has over 20,000 followers on it. Very active listeners that are listening all day long from all over the world to Americana, country, pop, dance music, folk music, indie folk, instrumental, a lot of different genres. So I go in here to Submit Hub, and I pull up songs one after the other, lots of speed. I'm listening to a lot of music. My average is 113 seconds right now per song. So I'm listening to these songs. And this will happen quite a bit. I'll get a song and I'll hear an underdeveloped voice in terms of where a singer's voice could go, or where a guitar player's playing could go, or where a drummer could go, or where the writing for a rap artist could go. I hear all these, I hear so much potential. I hear all this amazing natural talent that's undeveloped and not being nurtured. And I really believe that the three-tiered system I described before, going social media, going home studio, writing, Spotify, social media, I believe that that circle is actually hurting the development of artists, because there are so many other things that we need to be doing, not just as musicians, as artists and business people and just people in the world. Like, you can't live on your computer all day long and expect to make a difference in people's lives in a significant, real way for a long period of time. So I'm kind of getting to what I want to say. It makes you one-dimensional. If you spend all your time on social media, either producing content or consuming content, you become a one-dimensional person. You can't go out in the real world and network with people, talk with people, get to know your genre, get to know the community, get to know all the music lovers in your community, which will keep you going once you get to know these people. Like, I can't tell you how many gigs I've done and thought, yep, but so-and-so is going to be there. I got to go. And I got to play for that one person. That is super valuable, like the connections that you make. So all these other things besides social media, playing live shows, touring, traveling to professional studios, super important, because you're going to learn way more in a professional studio than you would by yourself at home for a year straight. In 2 days, you're going to learn more. How to sing on professional microphones like a Telefunken Elam 251, or I think that's the number. Anyway, these amazing microphones. How to play to a click track if you've never done that as a drummer. How to play through professional studio headphones while the bass player's in the other room and you're the guitar player. How to do all these things is a skill. It's not a talent. It's a skill. You have to develop those things. So it's not just touring. Oh, let's get back to touring. Touring is so important because it puts your art in a wide range of environments so that you can see how your art and how your songs interacts with the world in a real-time way. You're going to get feedback in live settings, in live concerts, that no way you could get from social media. And I've talked about this before, how like social media offers so much false praise to you as an artist. I would almost ignore all of it, like all the comments, because for every 10 great comments you get from your family and friends, there's a whole legion of people who don't like your music and just don't want to say it. And unfortunately, when you're on social media, you don't see those faces. When you're playing live, you see the faces of the people that don't like you. And that is so important to the growth of you as an artist. You need to learn rejection and growing thick skin to be able to put yourself out there and just say, I'm doing this. There are going to be a certain percentage of these people in this room that get on board with what I'm doing, and there's going to be a percentage that don't. We're going to try to get the largest percentage we can. If we get 90%, that's a phenomenal percentage. If we get 10%, hey, those 10% will hopefully show up to the next gigs and become real fans, because it's about quality connections. It's not about quantity. You go out and play live, you want quality all the way. It's about building long-term fans. So when you play live, your music takes on a form of its own. It becomes real in the real world. And that makes you a multi-dimensional artist, not a one-dimensional artist. All of a sudden, you can go into any room in the world, function as an artist and musician, and pull off your thing. That's the goal. You got to be able to pull off your thing anywhere you go. So you go into any studio in the world, and sure, maybe it takes a half a day to get comfortable, or maybe it takes a day to get comfortable with a new producer, or even a couple days if you're working on a super long project that might take a couple months. I mean, there's a growth curve, but you got to accelerate that growth curve in every environment. You got to be able to adapt. And if you spend all your time on social media, or even in the three-pronged pyramid I described before, where you're going home studio, Spotify, social media, promote, streams, and that's it, you're shortchanging yourself. You're not becoming a multi-dimensional artist. You're becoming a one-dimensional artist. And so many times I think young artists think, well, Kev, just wait. I'm going to go do those things. I promise. I'm going to go out and do the things that you're talking about with touring and going into pro studios and networking at conferences or going to festivals. I'm going to do all those. Just let me get these three things straight first so I can build up this huge audience. The problem is your music is suffering by being one-dimensional. And here on Submit Hub, I'm hearing how it's suffering by you being undeveloped artists. You're not getting the feedback that you need to be able to grow and have your next crop of recordings become better. That's what I'm getting at. So me as a playlist curator here on Submit Hub, I hear your potential, and I know that the only way you're going to be able to grow and really max out that potential is by going and doing live gigs or getting with a great producer or meeting other bands that you love and doing the community work that Jesse Cannon here on YouTube talks so much about, and he's absolutely right. You have to get out into the real world, and it is hard. It's not easy, man. It takes sacrifice, discipline, commitment. You're going to have relationships break up. You may get divorced. I'm divorced. There's going to be some crazy stuff that goes down in your life, but you have to know you're going to grow as an artist over time because you're going to keep at it. You're going to take chances. You're going to get new experiences, and you're going to become a multi-dimensional artist. And when you show up on Submit Hub a year from now with your new album, I'm going to listen to that and go, yes, this dude put in the work and he's growing. I hear growth, major growth. The whole game in the music business is grow and change as fast as you can. If you can do that, you're going to be so successful because you're just going to like leapfrog through all the competition. They're going to be like, whoa, how is this person becoming this artist? And it's from doing all the things. You got to really go out there. So don't spend all your time on social media. Is social media important? Of course it's important. It's amazing that you can make a video, music video, and have 1,000 people see it in 10 minutes. I make social media content all the time too, but I'm doing all the other things too. And you really have to have a well-balanced music career to keep this all together. So, social media can't be the only thing you're doing. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.